All right, underlying energy is the Five of Wands. I could tell that there's some conflict. Y'all kept, I could feel your energies were definitely popping out of these cards. All right, these cards are jumping. So Four of Cups, making decisions, or really shifting your focus to something that is. Oh, making you shift your focus away from the familiar, away from the, the same old, to taking a chance in a new direction. Really, shifting your focus from the old and, being able to embrace a new, right? Because if your mind is in a different, in a mindset, if your mind is stuck in a certain way of seeing the world, you have to do something drastic. You got to kind of break free from that. But how you do that? By shifting your focus and being open to new things, right? If it's emotional, it's about it's about shifting your focus to something different. Now, you got the Five of Wands coming up in this reading here, which indicates to me that there is some conflict. Now, it could have been that you guys have been waiting on some sort of offer, or you guys have been waiting on some sort of response to an offer, perhaps. Or you guys are just feeling emotionally stuck. You don't know what you want. You're kind of feeling emotionally like congested, if that makes sense, because it's just like it's been the same old stuff for so long, and it just kind of feels like, it's almost at that uncomfortable feeling of settling into a situation that you're not really 100% feeling. Now, for some of you guys, yeah, I think the reason why the Two of Cups was coming up and Temperance and the Death card was coming up, because I think you're remembering a time when your relationship, the one that either you're currently in, or the one that, or others that you've been in previous, how happy they were, how happy you were, and trying to make sure that you weren't going into it with rose-tinted glasses, or trying to see if what was the realness behind those emotions. Was it just the excitement of just being together, or was it just, or was it legitimate hardcore feelings? And those are some hard questions that only you can answer, Gemini, right? I can't answer those for you. You have to kind of figure those out on your own. And it's interesting that you have your card coming up here, which is the Lovers, crossing you. Now, the World is your challenge, is the heart of the reading, which talks about the completion of a cycle, right? Ending something, letting things go. You're not necessarily letting things go, but you're transitioning from one phase of your life to the next. Nice, right? But the thing is that you have the Lovers crossing that. So I'm going to say, you have some unfinished business regarding a connection that you have with an individual, regarding how you see love. It could be that too, right? Now, it's very similar to Taurus, because they have the Ten of Swords and the Lovers come out, as a jumper. But the Lovers is more of a personal thing. Even though there's other people involved in this card, it's personal because this is you accepting your emotional side. I know it's all about, for a lot of readers, it's the choice, it's the decision. And I personally used to read that way. But as I kind of, got more involved in tarot, and I, talked to my friend, and that really, really helps me, understand myself and what I read for myself all the time. I realized that the Lovers is not a choice. It's more of accepting that piece of us that we've tried to logically omit. We try to omit logically. We're like, okay, well, you can't be trusted, emotions, because you be leading me to these individuals that be breaking my heart. And it's like, that's not your heart's fault for doing that. It's actually, and it's nobody's fault. It's not about blame. There is no blame involved in this. Everything's about experience. And the more we accept that, the better off we are. And the more we'll be able to see the lesson behind the things that we go through, rather than trying to just, shrug it off, or, shift the blame so we can kind of not focus on it. This Venus retrograde has been brutal for everybody, especially since we have gone into Scorpio and Venus came back out of Scorpio. And one of the reasons why it was so difficult for a lot of us, right, was because this was looking at how we are in our relationships, our dynamic in relationships. So when we try to transition, because we're very close to being done here, with the World card being there, it's like we are right next to this successful completion, or, a successful outcome to our chapter that we're leaving behind. We have this way of seeing relationships, or a way of feeling, a way of being in relationships that don't help us. That's why that Five of Wands is there. There's some conflict for sure, because when we look at love, we see this as like, okay, well, this is where I know it is. This is how I'm used to it being. I don't really see how we can make it different. And you can, right? It's about, remember, temperance, making the possible impossible, removing all limitations. But it starts by removing your limitations on yourself. That's why divine timing, that's why temperance says focus on you. Focus on you, focus on yourself, focus on healing yourself, making sure you're balanced. Because the only place, and the most important place where you need to gain limitless boundaries is yourself. And that's what we're doing right now with the world and the lovers. So unfinished business regarding a love mate, or a lover, a soulmate, or the dynamic in which we see relationships. Now, in the past, you had the Tower, so it's definitely something happened unexpectedly, something came about. And I think this was a good thing, obviously, because what we move into is the Nine of Cups, right? I think it was a thing that you guys were definitely happy about turning out. I think you guys just didn't see it coming, and either way, that kind of freaked you out. Some of you guys may have been that Tower. You just made it happen. You just went ahead and just clicked your fingers and said, you know what, this is what I'm going to do. And I feel like that's why you guys are in a really good place. You actually feel really good right now. Feel really happy. But how you take that onto the relationship, you guys hit to the King of Swords. Now, I don't ever have a problem with the King of Swords. I don't. The King of Swords is a lovely card. I love him. He's my king. So, as a Libra and a female, this is my king. But the thing is, though, guys, I'm not reading for me. I'm reading for you guys. I see you guys becoming more you master your mental, you master the mind, you master the air quality of yourself. And I think what this really means is, with the King of Swords being here, is that you master your mind so you can make room and space for the feelings that you got, because you are overwhelmed with emotion at the moment. And it's good, right? Because the Knight of Cups is a good feeling card. Now, I feel like it's because you may have made a sacrifice that you definitely are now seeing the benefits of, or you may be feeling that, you're in a good place because either you've compromised or you've may have stood by what you believed in. You stood by your truth, right? I don't know if you severed ties, but I don't think this is it's really weird, right? Usually this is an empty victory, and you have the Nine of Cups, which can be a victory in my opinion, because you feel good. Nothing can be taken away from you. No disappointment, no sadness, no defeat can be given disappointed. Excuse me, can take away that happiness, right? And I feel like with that Five of Swords there, is that somebody, I think you've really focused in on on yourself. You're focusing on yourself. You're not really thinking about other people. You're not thinking about other folks. If they walk away, they walk away. But you're focusing on you right now. And that's the part that really makes things work. But I think the situation is this. The Lovers is about involving other people too. It's not just the dynamics in love. Well, it is the dynamics in love. Are you being more selfish? Are you willing to open up? Are you willing to allow people in? And that Five of Swords may be trying to figure out, well, is it worth including other people into this Nine of Cups? Because right after Nine of Cups, Ten of Cups, where there is people involved, right? But I feel like with the King of Swords, I think you make room for your emotions with the King of Swords. Because the King of Swords is the master of his mind. And I feel like with you being Gemini, right, having your head in your heart, you have to master one so you can make space for the other. If you become dominant one other way, you're suppressing one of your twins. And that can drive you crazy, because then what do you think happens when you try to suffocate somebody? Or what do you think happens when you try to smother somebody? They get crazier and crazier until they come out, right? Just think about, like say boiling water. Like, you can't contain that bitch. It's going to boil, right? It's going to boil, it's going to bubble over, it's going to go crazy. So it's about making space for your emotions. It's about making space for how you feel, but also making the best decisions for you based on your own religion to yourself, your own belief system, and how you believe people should treat you, how you should treat yourself, etc. Now, I think you guys want a relationship here because the Hierophant is in your golden ambition. Okay, I do really think that you want this. I do. Some of you guys could be seeing a Taurus. But I don't necessarily think that this has to be anybody, because this could be that you want to commit to yourself, and to feel, like you're headed in a different direction on how you feel, and commit to that, right? You want to commit to the new you, commit to the new boundaries, commit to the new routines, commit to the new structure that you set for yourself, or dynamic that you set for yourself. Now, you may have you may be wondering whether or not this is a dream worth pursuing here, because there may be a relationship or a age, race, culture, religion dynamic that's different. You may be dealing with somebody that has a totally different culture than you do. You may be dealing with somebody that's very different in regards to the kind of person that they are, like who the kind of person that you've been used to dating or being around, or being used to. But should that stop you from having the relationship? Because the King of Swords is open. He doesn't change his truth, but he's open to people. He's open to truth. He's open to different folks. He's not going to change his own. It's stuck. It's not fixed. I mean, it's not fluid. It's stuck. It's fixed. So he's not going to change all that, but he's open to things. He's open to gaining a different sort of perspective from other people to kind of figure out for himself if that's something he wants to change. But even then, right? He's not going into it to change his perspective. He's going into it because he's secure in his perspective, because it's something that settles him. It's grounding him. It's something that he's definitely 100% he believes. Y'all could be seeing Aquarius for all I know. But the situation is this. It's like, I feel like you guys want to commit to something. I think you guys want to be in a relationship or in a stable commitment with this person. And I feel like it comes from committing to yourself. And that is committing to your emotions, most importantly. Okay. Now, you guys have the Page of Cups in your outcome. And I don't mind this here, because this is a cultivation of something new, something, emotional for you guys. Like it has a lot to do with your heart's desire. Cultivating of your heart's desire here. And I don't mind this card coming up, because, you gotta start somewhere. And you got, and I feel like this is also communication of love here. Somebody may come out and communicate with you about how you feel, or you feel more encouraged to do that very same thing. Just coming from the heart and communicating based on your emotions. No longer being the detached Gemini, or the Gemini that's afraid of commitment. You're going to embrace that bitch. You can be like, yeah, let's get married. I'm just kidding. For some of you guys, maybe. That's the conflict, right? The conflict is whether this is a good decision to be open like this, to be to be good, to feel happy, or to by taking a risk or sacrificing something, right? And I feel like your advice is saying to commit to yourself, to commit to this dream, to commit to your wish, commit to the relationship, because the King of Swords never loses himself. When he was married to the Queen of Swords or divorced, he never lost his self. That's why they're divorced. Their dynamic didn't work, right? Or maybe it did. A little too well. Who knows? But the King of Swords never loses himself. And that's why I say, when it comes to this situation, I don't think you lose anything. You don't ever, not really. I feel like, you just not be, you no longer single? Cool, alright. But the thing is that you don't lose yourself, though. The person in your life, the soulmate that comes into your life, when I was doing those soulmate investigation readings last week, that was for, to help you figure out who you have become, to get to your highest potential. Because the soulmate is not meant to change, it's not meant to mask you. It's supposed to show you back to yourself, so you could get to a better place. And this is Venus retrograde, so you can be damn sure that that's what's going to happen. So let's go ahead and pull your Messenger Oracle card for the next couple weeks here. See the truth. See the truth. And that's pretty blatant right there in itself, right? See the truth of a situation, of the dynamic of something, right? Understand where you're coming from. Understand where the other person's coming from, Everything that's in the darkness will come to light. And there's nothing in the dark at all, as a matter of fact. Okay, well, there's the moon that's coming up. I was searching for that. I was like, where is it? But this was talking, when I go back into these decks, right, it's going through, it's the confusion that we have in ourselves, because there's nothing confusing here. The world is a great energy. The tower, you had everything hit rock bottom. You had the foundation completely destroyed. It could have been it could have been you that's done it. It could have been someone else. All in all, you're coming from a place of a resetting standard. You're coming from a reset position. So seeing the truth is practically saying, you're walking on new ground to start fresh. You're going from a place, and you're going into this with a specific perspective. Know that perspective may not be your truth, especially if it doesn't resonate. If this Five of Swords is not resonating with you, then it's because it isn't, that this isn't your truth. I'm going to go ahead and read you the affirmation for that too. All right. But all in all, see the truth is don't let your mind formulate all these opinions and things. I mean, of course it's good to formulate opinion, but the point of it is don't let your mind conjure up something that isn't real, right? Because you're coming from something that, that's from the blankest of blank slates. No, do not be deceived. Be watchful and mindful of the illusions others weave around you, Let me reread that sentence. Be watchful and mindful of the illusions others weave around themselves, and that you may weave around yourself. Know the night, understand the shadows, see through the darkness to the light of the truth. Pay attention to contradictions. Notice when actions and words are not in harmony. Hone your intuition and insight so that you may know the minds and hearts of those around you and yourself, and trust in the wisdom born of that awareness. Don't let yourself get confused now. Now, if somebody's around you that's confused, then there it is. You got two cards in here that indicate really tough times that can potentially be with other people. Now, if you're having arguments with somebody, then they're showing their true sides. This person is going to be showing their true sides, especially if they're coming out and they're being very selfish. They're not being considerate. They're coming out. There's nothing wrong with selfishness. I always say that. But if they're not being compassionate, if they're not being, considerate, then you have it, then that's the difference. Because you can always be selfish and still be considerate. But if somebody has shown red flags, yeah, watch that. Watch that mess. They're gonna watch this moment now, because you're gonna be, you're gonna be observing a lot. And I feel like if this is a dynamic between you and another person, yeah, the arguments are real. The Five of Wands, Five of Swords. But I really felt like this was more a personal thing. Imagine. Wow. And this is talking about dreaming, allowing yourself to dream, allowing yourself to kind of fall into the illusions. The very thing that the king, the truth was kind of saying, to be careful of, in a way. What it was saying was, don't be deceived by your imaginations. And I feel like with this is saying, don't be afraid to dream. So, and it's okay, that sounds really contradicting. Venus, what you trying to say? Basically is this, y'all. Too much of anything is a bad thing. You have to balance it out, right? This is why you have to balance your head and your heart. Because your heart is the creative aspect of you, while your head, of course, is the logical, seeing all signs and truths, that's your side. That's the other side. You have to balance the two of these, y'all. You have to be able to see the situation from the clearest portion. That's why you come out the King of Swords in the future. But you also have to allow yourself to feel and dream. You can't do one or the other. Don't let your dreams, don't let your imagination overcome your mind, because you won't be able to see any sort of craziness that's going on around you. You don't want to let this become too serious, or else you eliminate all aspects of emotion. You detach. You no longer feel yourself. And you end up becoming more protective of yourself than you are in the moment, and being open to love, to receive that love back. So that's why I don't mind the Page of Cups here, because it's like you're kind of cultivating a sense of desire for yourself and desire for your relationships. The King of Swords doesn't even need to be you. It could be somebody that you end up manifesting in, because you not only open yourself to love, you also, you know what you're going into. You know what you're willing to sacrifice. You're not going to be disillusioned by everybody else, and you're not going to be dealing with other people that are going to sabotage your progress, because you know what's going on. You're focusing on you. You're making sure that you're, doing your own thing. You're going through some serious changes with the world. You already gone through the tower energy, and then you got the Hierophant here that's still talking about changing. But you have the Five of Swords and the Five of Wands. Difficult changes, but they're all about your moral standard and the actions that you take in regards to being authentic to who you are. And those changes there are what's going to make this relationship dynamic redefinition for you guys, I feel like, a lot stronger than it has been. But you have to keep things balanced. Very temperance. I'm surprised it didn't come out, but very temperance of it.